Namaskar.
Namaskar.
My name is
My name is
Shampa,
Shampa,
and I
and
welcome
welcome
all of
all
you
of you.
to this online live session tonight. This session is being organized by Art of Living and Vaidic Dharma Sansthan, West Bengal. So, Navratri or Durga Pujo, as we call it in West Bengal, is a much awaited event. पूरा साल हम वेट करते हैं दुर्गा पूजा के लिए. This year, however, it's going to be different. This year, when there are restrictions on us venturing outdoors, how about taking the time to go within? As Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar Ji, the founder of Art of Living, says, Navaratri is the time to take the mind back to its source. So, how about focusing on the spiritual significance of this very auspicious time of the year? So, to shed light on this, we have with us someone very special from the Art of Living. I'm very happy and honored to welcome Dinesh Kashikar ji, very fondly, popularly known as Kashi Bhaiya, to this event tonight. So, warm
So,
welcome to you,
welcome
Bhaiya,
to you,
and
Bhaiya,
thank you
and
for
thank you
taking
for
out time to
taking
be with
out time.
us tonight.
Thank you, Shampaji. That's a
Little bit
very
about
nice
you, Bhaiya,
Little bit
before
of
we proceed further. So Kashi Bhaiya has been with Gurudev for the past 25 years. He has been traveling extensively and teaching the Art of Living programs all across the world. So Bhaiya is an expert in the ancient traditions, the Shastras, the Vedas, while at the same time holding a degree from IIT Bombay. Now his sessions, which many of us have experienced many times, are so enriching, informative, deep, and comes laced with wit and humor. So today, Bhaiya, we look forward to an enriching time with you. Warm welcome once again, and thank you for being with us, Bhaiya. Bhaiya, shall we
Bhaiya,
start with the question?
Sure, please go ahead.
Yes, Bhaiya. So we have quite a few questions. So the first question of Navaratri are dedicated to the different forms of Mother Divine. So, what is the story behind this? Why different forms of Devi Ma we worship on different days? And what is the significance also? If you could please enlighten us here.
Which day, which form of the Devi, you will find this on so many of our websites. In fact, artofliving.org/Navratri, you'll find this whole description of each of the Devis. But if you come to the question, why so many Devis, why so many forms, what is it that these forms signify? Everyone has a mother, and each of us has experienced different forms of the mother, haven't we? The mother is also loving, the mother is also strict, the mother has also given us everything we wanted. At the same time, the mother has prevented us from doing things which we wanted to do but was not good for us. So the mother is not just one quality, it is a combination of different aspects. And Navaratri celebrates this motherly aspect of divinity, of nature. Nature is providing us so much, and it is providing us without asking for anything in return. And when we get very naughty, it also punishes us. Why? Because in that tapasya, something very beautiful comes up. And when we look at every challenge as a tapasya, then we are able to move ahead with with the with the intention of the divinity. So in a certain sense, I would say that Navratri celebrates this vibrant aspect of the Mother Divine, which encompasses all emotions. In fact, as as maybe as school teachers, maybe as parents, maybe as children, maybe as brothers and sisters, all our relationships, we exhibit various facets in our relationship. With that same person, we are we experience so many different emotions. We express so many different feelings. And so the ancient rishis were very smart. They said the divinity is not somewhere up there, but it is a combination of all these associations. And so when we are able to see divinity in all these aspects, then we can see divinity right here in front of us. And that is what is the best way to be to do in the puja. In fact, the word puja itself means that which brings fullness, that which is born out of fullness. So, as we go ahead, we'll see how all these aspects of the Mother Divine can bring out the fullness in us. You know, a lit candle can light other candles. In the same way, when we praise or when we put our attention on some of these qualities, then those qualities get enlivened in us. You know, like if you want to study maths, then you put your attention on maths and then you learn how to do the maths. If your mind was somewhere else, then you don't get it, you're not interested, then you don't get the ability. In the same way, all these various qualities of the Mother Divine, whether it's Kushmanda, that is the fullness, whether it is uh, uh, any of the other aspects, whether it is Ma Durga, the valor, whether it is every aspect, whether it is Saraswati, that which is bringing the knowledge, all these aspects. In fact, uh, there are 9 aspects, but these are also sometimes clubbed into 3: Durga, Lakshmi, and Saraswati. And it is said, Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati, Aikya Swarupini Chandi. So, Chandi is that which brings out the fullness, that which brings out all aspects of the Mother Divine, the amalgamation, the the coming together of these various aspects is what Navratri is all about. So the best way to celebrate, like Shampadi just mentioned, is very truly going inward, getting in touch with that divinity which is present everywhere, but it's also present inside. So meditation, listening to authentic chanting of the Vedic shlokas helps us to dive deep inside. So all the pujas, homas, all of these, the experience of them allows us to go deeper into our own consciousness and experience the Devi, the Mother Divine that's present in every particle of creation. Does that make sense, Shampati? For those who are watching on Facebook, please feel free to put in some questions. We already have received some questions. We'll also look at seeing how we can take some more questions as we go along.
Yes, Bhaiya. So you have already said a bit about the homas during Navratri, and Art of Living has been conducting so many homas, pujas, yagyas, chantings during Navratri, and millions of people, they come to ashram and they join online also. This year, of course, we will have most of it, all of it online. So if we can join online. So, Bhaiya, why is it a great idea to participate in the homas? Sometimes I feel we miss out on the spiritual significance in this quest to just, especially in Bengal, what I have seen, we go pandal hopping. The attention is more on enjoying, going out and enjoying. So, if you could please explain that why should we be there in the homas? Why should we meditate when a homa is happening? If you could say a bit more about it.
So, I would say there's nothing wrong with pandal hopping. In
Of course,
fact,
yeah, of course, yeah.
in fact, the Devi is all about celebrating the Vaividhyata, the amazing diversity that is present in creation. That is why in the Durga Puja, they worship small children, invoking the Devi. The Kanya Puja happens, invoking the Mother Divine in the small children. That is why all the various forms. Often we think the divine is only formless, yet the Durga Puja is the perfect time to see that it's both form and formless. Now, if you can see on the Facebook Live, maybe the forms are changing, maybe it's me or Shampadi or both of us coming together. And even though all the forms are changing, it is the formless, that which is behind all of this, that really makes a difference. So in that sense, I would say this Navratri, it's a wonderful opportunity that we can, instead of getting lost in the form, we can actually reach out to the formless. The original intention of all these pandals was that when we see that all these forms are the Devi, then in that process the mind that is used to going outwards finishes off all of that and then is able to go inwards and really meditate, really become really get into that essence of the puja. This year, when it's going to be mostly online, when we are able to reach, when we are able to experience it without physically going to different places, I would say that it's a great opportunity and not a problem. The fact is that we can visit many more places in the same amount of time by staying in one place. And secondly, during the pujas and the homas, the best way to get the impact is truly to sit and meditate. Now, there are two options, of course. One is you can just watch and listen to the chants, and you still have the, the ultimate impact. You're just meditating with the chants. And there is a second option that you take a sankalpa, you participate in the puja. Now, there are two ways. When you are playing cricket, either you can be a spectator, you also enjoy, but you can also be a participant. You can also do fielding, you can do bowling, you can do the bats, become the batsman, you can become the wicket keeper. And when you do that, your sense of involvement is much more. In fact, have you ever seen that all the people who get involved in something, they feel much more connected. They say, hey, this is mine. That ability to bring up the involvement is what the Sankalpa is all about. So uh, in the Shastras, it is said that four types of people come to the divine. The first is Arthi, one who is miserable, says, I am miserable, my work is not happening, I'm feeling all these negative emotions, please help, divinity, I want to come to you, I can't do it, handle it myself, you take care. The second kind of people, Krishna tells Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, the second is Artharthi, one who is looking for some exchange. हम एक नारियल देंगे, आप हमें 4-5 मार्क दे दीजिए. Usually people go to the temple after the exam is over, before the results are announced. कायदे से पहले जाना चाहिए. So the second type of people are Artharthi, those who are wanting something in exchange. I will do this puja, give me this in return. Valid reason of coming to the divine. Third is Jignasu, one who's just curious. I've heard so much about it. My best friend is doing it. I think I should also do it. Let's find out what is there. The spirit of scientific inquiry. So true scientists have this jigyasa, have this, are not caught up in some dogma. They're not caught up in some preconceived notions. Well, this is all useless. They'll say, let me find out for myself. So that is Jignasu. And the fourth is Jnani, one who already knows, one who has already experienced, one who has found the fullness of meditation, one who has found the experience of puja, of meditation with the mantra. They also say, well, I've already experienced it, I'd love to experience it once again. So all these four types of people come to the divine. Krishna tells Arjuna, all of them are very dear to me, yet the one who is Jnani is even more dearer. So if you find that you fit in any one of these categories, go ahead. You can definitely find something of value in meditating with the mantra. And why to meditate with the mantra? Very simple. On a blackboard, if you have lots of things written and you write on top of it, well, it's going to get lost. But if you clean up the blackboard and then write something, then you're going to make it very obvious, make it very clear. In the same way, when we meditate, then the mind settles down and the mantra has a deeper impact on our consciousness. So meditate and listen to the mantra, and you'll find that you'll find the impact much, much better. Yeah. Does that make sense, Shampadi?
Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so
Bhaiya.
much,
That
Veda.
was
That was
so
so
beautiful.
beautiful.
Bhaiya, during the Homas, there is this process of taking Sankalpa, as you mentioned a few minutes back. So, what is the mechanics of Sankalpa? How to take it? What thought to have in the mind when you are taking the Sankalpa? What is it in layman's terms? And how does it benefit? What is Yajman also? How does it benefit someone? If you could
If you
throw
could
some
throw
light
some
on
light
that.
on that.
So, this is a very interesting question. Often, uh, there is a idea that, well, Sankalpa, Yajman, what is all this? Can't I just sit in the puja and just be? Yes, of course. But whenever we feel something, we are part of something. um, for example, if you say, well, I think my child is a part of my family and I'd like to do something for my child, and maybe the child says, I'm going to start a company and I'm going to run this thing, then the parents say, well, I'd like to support my child in whatever way possible. Husband and wife, if you're so much in love with your spouse and your spouse wants to do something, you say, hey, let me support that. Friends, among friends, someone wants to do something, you say, hey, I mera aapse apnapan hai, I know I belong to you, I know there's this sense of kinship and I'd like to support you in whatever you're doing. So the whole idea of Yajman or Sankalpa was this, that I feel such a connection with whatever you're doing, I'd like to be a part of this. And that was what Yajman or Sankalpa is. It is nothing else but this feeling of I'm part of this. So usually those who are Yajman or those who would take Sankalpa would be the family members of the person who's doing it. The art of living family is very huge. I remember once upon a time, long, long ago, someone came far, far away, as all good stories begin. Someone came up to Gurudev and said, Gurudev, there was this person who was an art of living teacher. He's passed away. He was a very dear uh, person. He was such a close member of the art of living family. We should do something in his remembrance. And Gurudev said something so beautiful. He said, the whole world is my family. Some people have done the course and some people haven't. So, the way I look at it, the whole world is one family, and Art of Living truly embodies that one world family, the spirit of the one world family. And so that's why in the Sankalpa, in the pujas, we really encourage everyone to be part. And if you really feel that you're part of this, you'd like to make this world a better place, and you feel that this is something that I identify with, come take a sankalpa, become a yajman according to your capacity. And if you feel that you cannot donate, you cannot give, that's perfectly fine. In your heart, just know that you can come and be part of the puja, and wherever you are, just mentally feel that belongingness, and that's good enough. Yeah. So it's not about how much you give or what you give, but what you feel. That's the essence. And of course, the mantras have a tremendous impact. The material world runs by the subtle, by the unseen. The fan that you're using runs on electricity. This device on which you're watching this webcast runs on electricity. You don't see electricity, yet it is because of that unseen force that you're able to participate, watch this thing, write a comment, and become a part of this live webcast. So in that sense, the unseen energy is what runs this whole creation, whether it's gravity that keeps our buildings in place, whether it's electricity that powers the devices that we use. The whole of the manifest world runs because of the unmanifest. The puja, the mantra, the homa, the sankalpa is a way to harness this unseen energy and see how we can utilize it in our in whatever it is that we're doing. So if you'd like to harness this energy, great, go ahead, do it. Take a sankalpa, become a yajman. And I tell you, when all the homas and pujas are done, on behalf of the whole world, the Pandit Gurudev, when they're sitting there, or the Swamiji who is sitting there, takes a sankalpa for the betterment of the whole world, for all the people in this world. So we're all included anyway. Yet when we feel that connection, you can help support this wonderful event and feel much more part of what we're doing. Yeah. So definitely take a sankalpa or become a yajman, not out of a sense of lack, not out of a sense of wanting that you're going to get something, but truly out of a sense of fullness, of knowing that you belong to something very, very vast, very magnificent, uh, very सात्विक and very very पूरा पुण्य का काम में आप भी भागीदार बन रहे हो, ये समझकर संकल्प लेना चाहिए. शंपा जी.
Yes, Bhaiya. Wonderful, Bhaiya. So, there is one question from the audience. That since we are talking about Mother Divine Devi Ma, how as we how we as devotees can please and appease her? How can we get her abundant grace
Abundant
and
grace.
good?
So first of all, just know that the Mother Divine is not angry that you have to please her. The whole, by definition, the divinity is full. There is nothing else that it wants, and there is nothing else that is lacking there. So it is not that by offering one banana, I am going to make the Devi full. No, what is the intention? The intention is that I feel the fullness within me. I feel that connection with the Devi. So often people think that by fasting I will please the Devi. No, the fasting is just so that I can clear off my impurities. It, people think that by donating I will please the Devi. What use does the Devi have for what she has herself created? जो लक्ष्मी है उसको लक्ष्मी की क्या जरूरत है? उनको लक्ष्मी देने से आप उनको क्या प्रसन्न करोगे? नहीं. पर तात्पर्य क्या है? Why is it that we are doing this? So that when we share, then it brings out that fullness in us. Have you noticed that there is a joy in sharing that is not there anywhere else? Every mother loves to cook for others. When she's or he is herself or someone is alone at home, they say, okay, let me just put something together. But when there are guests coming, then whoever it is, whether it's male or female, someone who loves cooking, ask them, and they say, we love to cook for others. For ourselves, well, we'll make do with whatever we have. So there is a joy in sharing. That's a mature joy. And when we were children, there was a joy in getting a new toy, a new thing. But as we matured, we found there is a joy in giving. So truly, that joy in giving is what the puja really is. And when we are able to do that, then the fullness comes. So you never don't think that by doing something you're going to please the divinity. In fact, when we are able to share, when we are able to share of what we have, that's when the fullness dawns in us and we get connected to the divinity much more effectively, so to speak. So in the Shastras it is said, for every homa there are three aspects: Deva Pujan, Sangatikaran and Dana. Deva Pujan is honoring the divinity. Sangatikaran is coming together. When many people come together, it becomes a yajna. And the third is Dana. Dana means not just giving money to someone, no, but sharing what we have. We have happiness, share that happiness. We know how to meditate, share that. So, in a certain sense, sharing what we have, that allows us to experience the divinity, that allows us to get in touch with that divinity, and that is what brings fullness. So don't think that by doing some activity the Devi will get pleased. Wake up and see it is your connection with the Devi that really gets stronger when we share, when we care and share. That allows, just like the Devi, just like Mother Divine, just like nature cares for us so much. We get air to breathe, food and water to drink, so much is made available to us. In fact, when nature even shakes a little bit, one small virus can shake all the economies. Just imagine just one small microscopic, not even microscopic particle can shake so much what humanity has built. What do you think? The nature has so much power. And so when we honor that, when we recognize that, when we feel humbled by that, that truly is that truly develops our connection with the divine, and that is the whole essence of pleasing the divine. So they just said these words so that people would actually continue to do the steps. But the essence is that when we are doing all these activities, when we care, when we share, when we do all these things, then it helps us to really connect with the divine so much more powerfully. I can see there are more questions coming
So
in,
beautiful.
Shampati.
Yes. There is one question, Bhaiya, that Gurudev had mentioned that Krishna had told Arjuna that he can grant him moksha, but to win the war, he will have to do Devi Aradhana, Devi Puja. So somebody is asking, Krishna could have as well given him blessing to win the war. Why did he direct him to Devi Ma?
I remember once in the ashram, we were all sitting around with Gurudev, and one of our teachers was going through a tough time. So someone asked Gurudev, Gurudev, आप तो चुटकी बजा के सब कुछ ठीक कर सकते हैं. You can just snap your fingers and everything will be okay. Why does he have to go through all these problems? Why does he have to go through all this process? And Gurudev said something so beautiful. I mean, he says many things which are so beautiful. That day he said that आम जब पेड़ पर पकता है उसका मिठास अलग होता है. The mango that ripens on the tree, it tastes sweeter. So in that sense, all the situations that we go through in life are designed for us to go and get something. If you go to the gym and you say, I won't lift weights because it's difficult, it's going to create some issues for me, then what's the point? You go to the gym so you can lift weights, you can exercise, push your body a little bit and make a difference to it. That's how the muscles grow. So in the same way, life throws situations at us, and these situations are designed to bring out the best in us. Nature is an amazing teacher, the divine is an amazing teacher, and it doesn't give up and gives the situations again and again and again till we gain the lessons from that situation. So when we look at it this way, then it's truly the ability for all of us to take any situation on a stride. That is truly the essence. So even Krishna tells Arjuna, go worship the Devi. Why? Because that is the way of the divine. The divine directs us to what we need at whatever time. And at that time, Arjuna definitely required the blessings of the Mother Divine. Nature, especially when you find that the nature is so benevolent that when we go to nature, then we are actually given the best, whatever is required for us. A lot of times we need saving from our own desires. After some time we think, thank God those desires didn't get fulfilled. If they were fulfilled, I would be in for a big problem. Okay, I can see there are some online questions coming up. Sohini Chakravarti is asking, how effective is attending online pujas? This year we cannot attend pujas physically. Definitely, when we are going to gather together in a big crowd, it's going to cause logistics issues for all of us. Also, it's not such a good idea, especially with the virus around, for us to gather together in groups. And at the same time, an online experience, I'm not saying that an online experience is a replacement for an offline experience. At the same time, it is better than no experience at all. So, Baddhapimani Baddhosi, Muktabhimani Muktosi, the Ashtavakra says. Ashtavakra tells King Janaka that if you think you're bound, you're bound. If you think you're free, you're free. In that sense, even when we are attending online, just know that the consciousness is not limited by space. When we think of the moon, our mind has reached the moon. So, in maybe physical limitations we all have, but uh, a conversation that happens online is still an exchange of ideas, it's still an exchange of an experience, still exchange of feelings. So, for example, 100 years back, maybe when there were no mobile phones, when there were no, if someone had said that, well, any agreement, any conversation, any meeting has to happen face to face. But today, so many of our meetings happen online, and we actually come to a decision which impacts the whole world. So definitely, an online experience can still do the trick. And especially when with the puja, just imagine sitting in the comfort of your own home, turning the fan on to the speed that you want, the AC at the temperature that you want, and the ability to meditate deeply is definitely a plus point when it comes to an online experience of puja. Yeah. Next question.
Yeah. Bhaiya, there is one question. Yes. Uh,
In many Durga Pujo
so,
Pushpanjali
some of us have been learned.
Yeah, go ahead, Shampa.
Vivekanand, can you mute? Yeah. So some of us have been learning different chantings. VDS has been organizing chanting classes. So what is your recommendation, suggestion? What are some of the chantings that one can do during Navaratri?
During Navratri, some of the best things to do, one is of course the Devi Kavacham. Get to learn it or just meditate along with that. There are so many others, like if you really want to take some time out, learn the Lalita Sahasranam. There are so many other Devi chants that are so powerful. And there is a joy of learning. If you are one of those people who like to learn, then learn chanting. If you're one of those people who like to listen, then listen to chantings. Both are okay. You don't have to be what you're not. Like some people love to make food and some people love to eat food. I am the latter category. So if you ask me to make something, I'll say, well, not interested. But if you ask me, can you come and taste that wonderful, what is that tomato thing that you make on in Bengal? It's amazing, that tomato chutney kind of thing. For me, that's yummy. So I like food from every part of the state and of the country, of the world actually. But just like I enjoy eating food, so I ask people to make it for me and I just consume it. And there are some people who like to know the recipe and say, hey, share the recipe with me. So in the same way, if you love chanting yourself, learn to chant. If you don't, if you know that, for example, if you open your mouth, the chanting is definitely going to come out wrong and you're never going to get it in this lifetime, and your tongue is never going to be able to do the yoga to achieve Sanskrit, then it's perfectly okay to listen to the chants and meditate also. Both of them are perfect. Of course, don't give up so easily. Make an effort to learn chanting, and if you really can't, then that's okay too. So any of these chants, Devi Kavacham, Lalita Sahasranam, all many other chants are there. VDS is actually going all out to share all this wonderful knowledge and share this wonderful experience. Of course, in I think in the Calcutta TOK also, we're going to be doing the homas and the pujas, and it will be a great idea if all the people in Bengal can help to support and feel that part. If you feel that belongingness, if you feel, hey, this is my part of me, and come be part of this wonderful thing. And of course, when we expand our identity, when we see that the whole world is one family, these wonderful pujas are happening both from the Calcutta TOK and also from Bangalore ashram. So you can either choose to show your support either in this or that or both, if you have the resources, for sure. I can see Sandeep Chatterjee is asking, in many Durga Puja Pushpanjali sessions, we see Pandits in Bengal saying women and non-Brahmins cannot say Om, instead just say Namo. What's your take on this? Well, it is said in that just chanting Om mentally will definitely bring up the 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 tendency of sannyas. So of course it's not just for women. Actually chanting om mentally, doing japa on om mentally is not for householders, either male or female. But otherwise for sure, like if you're doing your sudarshan kriya and you chant om 3 times, it's perfectly normal and it's not going to create any problems for you. And so it's perfectly okay. So as long as you're chanting om namah shivaya or om namo narayana, the word om is very powerful. Maybe I remember once, in one of the satsangs, Gurudev was saying, and someone asked this and he said in a very jovial note, just as a aside, he said that maybe all the men felt that all the women would get more powerful. They're anyway so powerful. So they said, well, you should not chant Om. So there's nothing like that in the Shastras for sure. The all of us who are wanting to walk on the spiritual path, and the spiritual path is not the art of leaving, it's the art of living. So you don't have to leave anything. You don't have to say, well, I have to be out of the family to be spiritual. No. So you can definitely be totally in your family, take care of all your responsibilities, whether you're male or female, and you can also find that fulfillment of walking on the spiritual path. Yeah. Next question.
So, yes. Vivekananda, can you just check? So what is the best spend these 9 days as a sadhak? What should we be doing? Keep silence.
Absolutely. So I would say 3 aspects. First, of course, there are so many silence courses that have been, advanced courses that have been announced in the first week of Navratri Pujo. And being in silence is probably the best way to get in touch with the self. In fact, Gurudev will be in silence on the first few days of Navratri. And so just following on the footsteps of the Guru is probably the best way of spending these first few days of Navratri. Of course, sitting in the homas, Durga Homa, chanting, listening to chanting. You don't have to chant, but listening to those vibrations helps to purify both the atmosphere and the consciousness. All the impurities that get collected on the consciousness, all the chanting helps to purify all of that. So listening to chanting, learning chanting, or meditating with the chants, and the knowledge, the knowledge of the Art of Living Happiness program, so effective. I feel that if we can just help use these 9 days. In fact, Ratri means the rejuvenation. This is the time for us to rejuvenate. Once, of course, the Navratri comes 4 times a year, but this Ashwin Mas Navratri is usually celebrated most widely, especially in Bengal, South India, everywhere. And this is a time for renewal, a spiritual renewal. So meditate, be a part of the homas. If you have the resources, then take a sankalpa. You feel that connection, take a sankalpa, become a yajman. Or you can just watch and meditate along with the mantras, or just be in silence. All of these are great ways for us to spend these 9 nights.
Thank you so much, Bhaiya.
How do we give Ashtami Anjali from home? There's another question from Mithu Ghosh Dastidar. When we think that the divine is limited to physical objects, then that is our misconception. In fact, what it means to offer an Anjali is to surrender, is to, like often it is said that just offer a handful of water, that is your offering. Water in Sanskrit is apaha, which means both love and water. So offering jal to the divine is actually offering your love to the divine, recognizing your love for the divine. So if you could just recognize your love for the divine, when you see that there is divinity everywhere and you're surrendered, then that's the best offering that we can give. there's a very beautiful chant that says Sarvam Samarpayami. So, offering everything. And that it's very easy to say, I offer this flower and I'm done and I'll keep my heart with myself. Yet, if we can offer ourselves and if we can surrender, and surrender doesn't mean saying that, okay, I'm going to empty my bank balance. No, not at all. But to really be recognizing that there's divinity that's running this whole show, there is something, there's a higher power that's making everything happen, whatever you call it science, you call it the divine, you call it Rama, Krishna, anything. But recognizing that is what really Durga Puja is all about. And so uh, you can definitely offer your Ashtami Anjali from home. Just feel surrendered, and that's the best way to offer it. Shampaji?
Very beautifully said, Bhaiya. Such a wonderful way of looking at it. Very nice. Thank you so much, Bhaiya. We have come to the end of our session. I don't see any more questions. And of course, I think you have guided us on many aspects of Navratri. And this is definitely going to make a very beautiful, positive transformation in the way we celebrate this very auspicious time of the year. Thank you once again, Bhaiya. Thank you so much for this enriching session. Thank you, Bhaiya.
Jai Gurudev, Jai Gurudev.
Jai
May
Gurudev.
this Navratri bring fullness, and may this bring the grace of the Master, and get us all the wealth, both material and spiritual, and may we find our fulfillment in this lifetime itself. Jai Gurudev.
So thank you everyone for joining in. It was so delightful to have Kashi Bhaiya speaking on so many aspects of Navratri. So this Navratri, let's spend the time in meditation, prayer, and in praying for world peace and in being hopeful. I welcome all of you to be a part of online Navratri celebrations. You can be in your homes and you can be a part of this wonderful celebrations that we have every year. So in the next slide, you will see our phone numbers wherein you can contact to be a part of these celebrations. Thank you. Jai Gurudev.